ordered these on the same day that I did the, that I recorded the video for the, was it the fourth quarter stuff? So the Ryan Badler and the, was it the Kojishi Voyager? So I ordered these on the same day. That tells you how long it's been. That was about a week ago when I recorded that. I sat on it for a couple of days hoping there would be more stuff, but it never happened. Although we did get the revelation about Hibitsukai metal, which is going to be a thing. It's weird that they advertised it so early on. It's only going to be like 1 or 2 episodes. Unless they're going to make him a regular villain, that would be interesting. Turning one of the regular Rangers into a regular villain, that would be interesting. Other than a body killer, just saying. Oh my. Hello. Whoa, what the deuce? Remember that, remember the Qtama event where I got this thing? Well, there's no way to know whether it's still going or not. I don't know. Three new Qtamas. I have no idea what they are, but now I've got 4 bonus Qtamas. I emailed them shortly after I got this because I was interested in Gigan Phoenix. Should I say Gigan Ho-Oh or Gigan Phoenix just to spare the American pronunciation? When I was getting these, I emailed, I didn't want to rob somebody else of the opportunity to get this specific one. I think this is the Oguma Qtama, the big bear one. So I emailed Hobby Link Japan and I said, can I do another order that doesn't have a duplicate of this? And they said, sorry, they're inserted at random, we have no control over it. So I have no idea what this is. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm just going to order them. I don't care. If I get a bonus one, maybe I'll give it to somebody, I don't know. But 3 bonus ones? What's going on here? Now, they don't tell you when the event ends. It ends when it ends. So I have no idea what's going on here. Like, give me a duplicate, okay, but what's up with this? We have the Pegasus. So this is these are the 2 that Hobby Link Japan were offering up, and they're both rare, and I haven't seen them in any other kits. They must have been like special edition something or others. Is that pointed the right way? It is now. So now I've got the, what's this called? The Pegasus Qtama. I think it's called Pegasus. Captions will correct me, of course. 22 and 33. Okay. I got both. I didn't get a duplicate. Hooray. So what are those? I'm guessing this doesn't say anything important. Don't hit anybody with it. Don't swallow it. Don't stick it up your nose. Shrug. I have no idea what this is. Because they only showed 2 Qtamas. And there they are. So what is this? It's another Oguma Qtama. So I actually got a duplicate. I think I'll sit on this for now. And what do we have here? I have 3 Oguma Qtamas. What? HLJ, what? What? Oh! It's hot in here. I'm not used to the heat. Maybe. I thought it was just per box, but maybe it's per item. I got one Qtama because I ordered one item. Is it possible, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it possible that because I got 3 of the qualifying items, I thus got 3 Qtamas? I mean, is that what's going on? 3? Is that what happened? I don't know. I need to figure out what to do with these. You know, maybe the next time I go to Boba Con, I should take these with me and sell them for, I don't know, $5 each or something. I don't know. I probably like $2, maybe. Okay, so there they are. Just gotta figure out what to do with it now. That happened. I'm really sweaty. I'm one of those people who walks out of a shower, completely towel dries off, and then like 2 minutes later, after I'm all clothed up and everything, I leave the bathroom and boom, I'm sweaty all over again. I'm one of those people. Or would that be everybody? But, okay. What's the name of the 2 Pisces? That's one I was thinking of. Does anybody else think that these 2 should have been Pisces instead of 2, like, I'm a Libra, so, and I said this before, I'm a Libra, so like, this one holds a little extra special meaning to me, but what's up with the snake that doesn't look anything at all like a snake? Like, it's guy fighting a snake, holding on to a snake, transforming into a snake. How does Hibitsukai work? Hibitsukai is the Japanese name. I think it's, what did I say before? Ophinicus. Ophinak? Not the Kamen Rider Faiz villains, mind you. I still want to see Faiz. Still want to watch it, because everybody raves about it, but I need to watch it at some point. So, yeah, whatever. And then is this just, I think this is just an eagle. Can't think of any eagles. To be fair, I don't know the 88 constellations very well, so I kind of know the more popular and common ones: Pisces, Cancer, Leo, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, blah 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 blah. But can't think of any birds off the top of my head. That's not to say they don't exist. Just can't think of it. Okay, whatever. Tiny boxes again, just like with the cubes with Zyuohger. It's the same thing. Really tiny boxes. Not as small as the accessory weapon cubes that they have, but still, real tiny boxes. Like, I want to say like Go-Go Drill had a bigger box than this, you know. That's how far back I go. I actually might want to hang on to this because I'm not quite certain how to change this. Maybe these guys should have been like the bears in Gal Ranger, you know, Gal Polar and Gal Bear. Maybe it should have been that kind of scenario. We were all kind of expecting a Han Solo and Chewbacca kind of relationship between Naga and, gosh, I just blanked on his name. The gold-colored guy. I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Like, we were expecting that, and we kind of got a Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock kind of mentality out of him. I guess that's what they were aiming for. It is nice, though, that Bandai and Plex and Toei decided to give us a couple of humanoid characters, that, or rather decided to give us some non-animal Voyagers. That is nice. Oh, there's a lot more asymmetrical painting on here than I initially believed. Wow. Huh. Cool. Alas, the head cannot turn. Oh well. Tenbin Voyager. Friction, friction, ratchet. Little bit of ratchet, like 2 ratchets. Yeah, there's only 2 ratchets in there. Ooh, that comes apart easily, I'm surprised. Oh, it doesn't snap into the top of the Qtama. That's surprising. I'd have thought it'd been a little more secure than that. No swivels. No thigh or knee swivel. Don't need it, I suppose. Waist swivel? No. Let's see. Shoulder lightly ratchets outwards, just a little. Ratchets every 45 degrees all the way around. There's the swivel. Friction swivel. Let's see, what would this be called? That's friction. It goes only to about 45 degrees. Is there another swivel? Let's see. No swivel. And then these are pegged in, and you cannot remove them. But they actually do tab. There's a little tab on the, what would you call these dishes? Plates? I guess these are plates. So the plates pivot at the hand, and then there's a peg on the dish. It plugs into a hole in the side of the elbow. Look at that big old ugly kibble framework in the back. You can tell they were really trying really hard to get these to transform into a limb of some kind. So clearly the ratchet is intended for whatever mode you decide to put this into. I think I'm going to have to look at the instructions for this because I don't know how to arrange the arms. Oh, they have warnings. Pinch points. Probably don't hold it by these positions. And, oh, it shows all the ratchet points and where all the pivot points are. Guess it means they're worried about things getting pinched. Denbin Qtama! So if I flip that around. Stop sweating, Ava. Come on. Ah. Oh, it was intentionally designed to come apart. Like it's designed, like transformation type come apart. Not for safety's sake come apart, but like actually come apart. Wow. Oh, the dish on the hands can come off. Alright. That one probably is for safety's sake, so. Unless it's part of a transformation, in which case I would be impressed. Oh, so there's a pair of tabs. I guess it'd be back here when it's just the Voyager by itself, but there's a pair of little plugs or something on the back side that you plug into the knees. But they don't actually like plug into anything, they just kind of gently fit right in. So there isn't even, it's not even a friction pin. Oh wow, that's a lot looser than I thought it would be. I could have sworn those arms got closer. That's it. I mean, it just, the arms kind of fit to the side and then what's going on here? I mean, that's it. It's just you kind of fold the arms back, or you fold the arms forward, or no, you fold them backwards a little bit and then that's it. Weird, I thought that ratcheted more than that. Huh. Okay. Gets a little lost in the daylight, but wow. Honestly, I was expecting those arms to fold around a lot more than they did. Do they fold around? That's it. That's all there is to it. Wow, the arms are treated more as kibble than the legs are. At least the legs are like fingers or something like that, while the arms are just all over the place. And again, all you're doing is just storing the arms on the back. Maybe I should point it this way. That's all you do, is just the arms point on the back side. And that's it. You win some and you lose some? I think because Hibitsukai and Tenbin are so similar, I think I'll put away the instructions for this one. How difficult can it be? It's actually going to be easier because the arm shields actually just snap together or peg together or fit together without any friction whatsoever. They fit together really well from what I've heard, so considering how similar the transmissions are, I guess I don't need this. It's not silver, it's not gray. It's like a shade of white. But it actually is molded in that color. It's not like they painted it. I pretty much crossed the halfway point of my viewing of Gekiso Sentai Karenja! Not bad. Not bad. I'm kind of liking O-Ranger a bit more. I liked O-Ranger. Yeah, there was some silly stuff that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but wasn't nearly as hammy as I thought it would be. And likewise, Carranger isn't nearly as off-the-walls crazy as I thought it would be. If anything, it seems kind of pale in comparison to what we see these days. Because they do the whole animated, whenever something unexpected or stupid or embarrassing, you know, they still do that. Even Zyuranger. Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, which was Power Rangers Season 1, even they didn't do that. Like, it was stupid. But, you know, they didn't do that. So, maybe it would be safer to say that Carranger was silly for its time. But they've just been kind of playing on that ever since. When did they start doing that? Might have been around Go-Onger. It's when they started doing the kind of anime influence into the live action. Well, I call it anime influence, but as a Westerner, what else can I call it? It was present to some degree in Shinkenger, but not nearly as much, because Shinkenger was a bit more serious. A bit. I got to see Carranger scramble Gatai. That was the previous episode. And it was a Green Racer focused episode. I thought it was kind of a you know, all Rangers episode. But it was actually a Green Ranger episode. Again, it doesn't snap into position. Why? I mean, why not? This is so loose. It's interesting with these shields. The fangs of the snake actually come out this way, and I can't say whether I like the fact that they came out as kind of daggers facing this way, as opposed to daggers hanging underneath. So you could shield and then cut, shield it and then cut. You know, that kind of thing. That eye symbol or whatever it is that Naga has for his special attack, whatever it's called, it's unique to his race or whatever. They've got that represented on the left shoulder. The head isn't quite Egyptian, like ancient Egypt kind of looking, but it's kind of disappointing the way they did the visor. I was expecting a little more. It's like a snake's head mixed with a snake's head, and by the way, there's a turban mixed in there somewhere. And oh, by the way, there's like kind of sort of lips, like not even lips like this, but just kind of blocky, like Bayformers kind of. That's not fair, but you know what I mean. Kind of Gundam-y lips. I was going to save it for later, but I guess I'll point it out now. The asymmetrical painting is much more prevalent here than on any other Voyager. And likewise with Tenbin. It's just the decorations are different between the two, but it is significant asymmetry. You've got Up, you got, let's see. You had a friend in me. No, thank you. You've got the I symbol here. You've got a stripe here. There's a dashed line here and a stripe here, which are missing from this side. You've got part of a black stripe on this side, and then you've got a long red stripe on this side. So the asymmetry definitely carries over. Articulation's different. There's no shoulder swivel in this direction. They don't let you do that. Huh, you can't do this with it. Shields are PVC. You could bring the shields together like this, or no. You bring them together like this, but you cannot flip it so that the snake's face is on top. You can't do that. You also cannot do it so that the snake's face, you can't do this with you. Like the elbows can pose like this, but you can't put the shield like this in front of it. I guess they were trying to avoid the fact that it's shield close range combat. I don't even remember. Like, they only used these guys once ever individually as individual Voyagers when they're fighting, and that's when they made their debut. You don't see it after that, which is disappointing. I mean, you've got some stuff that's happening, and you've got humanoid figures mixed in with animal figures. You know, come on, give us something to work with. Hell, even the Ryu Voyager gets more action in terms of moving around and posing and attacking than these guys did. Okay, so other than the inability to turn like this, ratchet, 45 degrees, friction, ooh, that's loose. Can I tighten that? No, I cannot. The left elbow is a little looser than the right. Friction, friction, ratchets, and also ratchets. So the only ratcheting is here, here, and here. Okay. They really expect me to just pose it like this? With no elbow swivel? Oh. Maybe they want me to do it like this. Probably. Guess I need those instructions after all. Didn't think I'd need them, but I just want to double check to make sure. Why doesn't it have that shoulder swivel or an elbow swivel? Why? Why isn't that there? Well, I suppose it's a good thing. It's the shields are made out of PVC, so there's a little bit of flexibility. You can sneak in there. Alright, I'm going to call it good. So there is Hibitsukai Voyager. And they say what you're supposed to do is you're just supposed to, like, let them hang like that. But that would just drive me crazy if I did that. So I'm just going to peg them together on their back here. Because, like, if I do both of these as legs, the arms are going to get in the way of the legs. Arms are going to get in the way of the legs that are actually part of the arms. What? Alright. Scramble City, yo. I wonder why they intentionally have the legs come off. There better be a transformation behind that, or I'm going to be livid. With the Orion Battler, whatever its ultimate combination is, if these legs don't come off, I'm going to be very disappointed. And if they do take the legs off, they had damn well better make certain that those legs are used in some interesting fashion and not just slapped on somewhere inconveniently just because they can. Like they have been for over a decade now. Yeah, so transformation is the same. And unlike Tenbin, this actually looks like something. Like they actually put some effort into it. Like, what's that supposed to be, a hammer? I can't come up with anything. But like, at least this looks like something, you know? I must say the eye detail is nice. The molded detail is also nice. Don't ask me what species it is. I doubt that that was a consideration when they made this. Or if it was a consideration, I don't think that they went through any effort. You know, they're like, nah, it just needs to look like a snake of some kind. Or just a cobra of some kind, so... For those of you who have been wondering, you know, Ava, why don't you ever change the Qtamas? Why don't you flip them around so they're blank so you can actually see inside? Well, you can, easily enough. And you're supposed to flip them, you're supposed to, you know, have the image merge together when you insert the Qtama into the Seiza Blaster or into a Voyager or into a oh gosh, what's that called? Cusa weapon. You're supposed to flip it around. But that's all well and good when you attach it to a weapon or to a henching device. That's fine. But, you know, it just kind of adds some interesting flavor. It adds to the obscurity of the design. Like, what am I looking at? What are these obscure random patterns on here? And then you flip it around and it's like, oh, that's what it is. Okay. So then, you know, why don't I do it here? Well, it's nice that that you can see inside the cockpit, and there actually are specialized Qtamas. There's 9, well, there are probably 12 at this point. They probably expanded since the last time I looked. There are Qtamas where you can get them with the Rangers actually inside. They don't spin, but the cockpits open up, and you can actually stick a little figure on the inside. You can get those, and it is nice to have that little pattern on the inside. But I like the idea of like the clouds and continents of a planet, you know? I kind of like that idea across these things. I know they're meant to represent stars because they're globes. Qtama is like star globe or something like that. So I was like, you know, kind of from a distance, they all look like it's kind of vague, obscured. You don't quite know what it is, but there's some sort of mystical power on the inside, as opposed to just kind of, oh look, there's the pilot, yay, shoot there. You know, it's kind of like it's the swirling mass of energy, the power source, the planetarium. Is that the energy source, whatever it is? Anyways, yeah, that's why on all the Voyagers, I do that with all of them when they're inserted in. So there's oh, and because the shoulders ratchet, you can move these. You can ratchet that every 45 degrees. Though I don't think you can. Yeah, you might be able to. I don't know. But yeah, transformation's identical on both of these. To be fair, they are not remolds of each other. They transform in an identical way, but the molding patterns are different because the asymmetrical patterns, the paint details, I mean, aside from the arms and the head, the asymmetrical patterns are different on each of them. I better take a double. I better... Yeah. Yeah, the patterns are different. Both arms are completely different as well. The shoulder designs are different. The biceps are different. The legs are also different. I think the only thing that's similar between them is the kind of gray transforming framework that holds the Qtama. I think that's literally... Wait. And the feet. The feet are the same as well. So... maybe. Oh. No, I take it back. Maybe the legs are identical to each other. Because I'm looking at the thighs now, which have very different paint patterns on them. Okay, so it looks like the kind of rib cage assembly and the legs and feet are identical on both of them. The only thing that's different is the arms and the head. And the Qtama pattern. 2 down, 1 to go. Wow, that's actually got a little more weight than I was expecting. I wouldn't have expected these to be heavier than anything else we got, but it feels a little heavier. Get my workout for the day. You know, I just realized how incredibly girl-friendly this packaging is. The Tenbin and Hibitsukai Voyagers, they've got these rainbow patterns on them because 9 colors, whatever. But it looks particularly My Little Pony when you throw pink in there and you get the rainbow. Like, I hate to say that, but something else I noticed about the box is you get a front view of Tenbin and a front view of Hibitsukai, but then for Washi Voyager it's the butt. The primary picture is the butt. Huh? Why? What, they couldn't just recreate this picture here? I guess you can't pose it. Oh wait, yes you can. Oh, kind of. We'll find out in a moment. Single piece. They don't care. Arms aren't supposed to come off, but they took them off anyways. These come off? No, they don't. Not even for safety's sake. That's interesting. It's a bigger box, and yet it's packaged differently. Or it's packaged down in a smaller form. Spada, that's the name I was thinking of. I was trying to think of Kajiki Yellow's Rangers. Like, what's his name? It's Spada. You know, like spade for a garden tool, spada for a spatula, I guess is what they're trying to go for. Oh, you crazy, crazy Japanese and your English puns. Anyways, what was I thinking of? I was thinking of the most recent episode where Ho-Oh Soldier, Phoenix Soldier, he explains his past. This is his second episode with us. And I was thinking to myself, boy, you know, I was kind of glad that that Raptor, is it Raptor 288, 218, something like that? I know there's a 2 and an 8 somewhere in there. Wow, that's nice. The feather tips are PVC, but the rest of the wing is ABS. Wow, that's nice. Does the mouth open? It does. They actually went through the effort of putting a mouth and opening up the beak. That's nice. Huh. That's going to be really stubby foot when you put it in there. Is this supposed to be an eagle or a condor? Anyways, I was just thinking of Raptor and how she kind of shows up. What are we calling him? Utori? She kind of showed up Phoenix Soldier. I was like, you know, I might just be a secretary, a pilot, a maintenance worker, and a recruiter, but I'm also a Q Ranger, and here is how I fight, and like, you know, don't turn me away so easily. And I thought to myself, you know, there have been times where the female Rangers have had to justify their existence. Well, Spada also had to, you know, what's a chef doing here? What are you doing here? You don't belong here. But I was thinking to myself just now. I was thinking to myself, you know, it's nice that the Pink Ranger isn't super hyper excitable. You know, goes squee at the slightest little things. Although she does do that, but she doesn't do it nearly as much as a lot of other white and pink and even yellow Rangers do. Washi Kyuntama! Wow, you really can't tell what that looks like. And it is really difficult to see that pattern. Speaking of which, This has been on for about 7 minutes now since I attached the Bitsakai, and it didn't make any noise. I would not have thought to look at that if I hadn't thought, oh yeah, it doesn't have a notice on it. Leave it on. You're going to need it in a moment anyways. There's a couple different patterns that they have going here in terms of how they display the feathers. Like the feathers, they have their own really nice texture pattern. I do like it, although there is some pink paint. It's actually a very neon pink, by the way. I'd like to point out it's not just pink, it's neon pink. They painted the stripe that goes all the way around the wing here. For the Power Rangers release, you probably get none. The asymmetrical pattern is this, I guess it's kind of a pale turquoise. It's kind of a more green. It's like a pale green over here on this side, which is not on the other side. I guess it's kind of an Egyptian motif, like they're trying to get a tattoo off the one side here. I guess that's what they're trying to do. Other asymmetrical paint applications. The pink stripe around the butt is also been painted on as well. Oh, and they painted the thigh feathers as well. That's interesting. Oh my, I wonder how this transforms. You know, it has kind of a longbow appearance, so I think that's why they actually put these on here. Aside from the fact, oh, and by the way, if you want to do the whole bird storing its wings thing, you can totally do that. Shout out to Gao Eagle, by the way, which was one of the very few Super Sentai birds that can actually do this. Oh, also the Soul Bird, the rescue bird from GoGo 5, Lightspeed Rescue, could also do this. But it's so nice. Let's see. What other ones could do this? I know there's a couple that could do it. Not many, but there are a few that do this. But I like to think that Gao Eagle was the first bird in Super Sentai that was able to do this kind of posing. So that's nice. Anyways, I'm going to turn these like this so it gives it a little bit of a longbow kind of appearance, or crossbow, star crossbow, if you must. So I'm going to do that. I don't remember if it does that in the show. I can't remember if it's like this for a bat'leth kind of thing, or if it's turned around like this for a longbow kind of appearance. But for my sanity, I'm going to do it that way. That's actually fairly good paint applications across all of them. I mean, there's genuine paint applications on all of these. Beyond, you know, like trying to hide the fact that this is a silver piece, and yet they painted it yellow to make you think, oh, it must be a yellow piece. It was molded in yellow and then painted silver. Or just kind of, what does brown have to do with green? I don't know, but there it is. Or put copper, brass on it just because you can. Like, what does copper have to do with blue? But with Washi and Tenbin and Hibitsukai, they actually make a dedicated effort to paint these up really nicely. That's something that's even lacking on, which one was that? I wish that there was I wish that the lights on the inside of Q-Reno, where you're cycling through the different sound effects. There's 3 sound effects, that's all well and good. But I kind of wish there was one where you just push down on it, or like a 4th special effect where you push down on it real quick and the lights just stay on for like 10 seconds. Or 7 seconds, or whatever it is. Just so you could display it momentarily, without having it flash and ooh, let's look at all the details on the inside here, because the only time you can look at these things is when they're plugged into Q-Reno. That's the only time you can see the inner detail pattern. So it'd be nice. And then the only one that actually stays still is the center one. All the other ones around it flash. I would like to point out, though, that the pattern for the Pilot for Washi Pink actually is different. Her knees and ankles are together. I notice her hips are a little wider, so they actually went through the effort of making each of the Kyuranger does indeed look different from the other. Sort of. Oh, that's why they fold back. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, oh, and I just went through tirades. Oh, it's nice, so nice that the wings fold back. You idiot, Ava, they have to fold back in order to become a limb. Well, it's definitely one of the smaller footprints. I kind of put it on par with Kajiki Voyager in terms of don't press back on it for too long, because it's not going to hold very well. That's actually a really small clip that's in the... Because the clip that holds the back of the head to the rest of the body is located right here in the back of the neck. That clip is really, really tiny, so rocking it back and forth is not an option. Now, there it goes right there. So I'd recommend keeping this as an arm. In much the same way I'd recommend don't use this as a leg. You can use it as a leg, just it's not meant to hold that kind of weight for very long. In other words, don't store it on your shelf and let it collect dust with this and this being on the legs. You can kind of do it with this, but whatever. I want to say it's unique to Washi Pink, but let me double check. Because I was looking for... Oh, there they are. No, I guess I don't have to check. A lot of people have noted there's a pair of tabs right here, little connection tabs right here, that aren't anywhere else. And obviously it's not used for the Scramble City because, it's always attached via the Qtama. So what are these? A lot of people have noticed you can actually take Washi Pink and store it on the back. I don't remember it doing that, and it's not like it's necessary because Q-Reno can go from ground to orbit or orbit to ground or wherever it wants to as much as it wants to. So, it's not necessary for it to do that, but let me double check the instructions. Maybe they do mention it. It's not like Bandai and Plex have installed additional tabs and stuff for features that were going to be implemented at a later time, but ultimately they never did it. A good example of this, one of the more common examples of unused features would be in Bochinger. There were little tabs, there were little moving parts on the different Go-Go accessory vehicles. There were pegs on the legs that were never used. There were joints that, why are these here? So Bochinger from 2006 is one of the better examples in Super Sentai where you could tell that Bandai and Plex were planning to release other toys, or they're planning to do other things, and yet for whatever reason they didn't release them. So if anybody knows what those are, I'd appreciate finding out about those mysterious things. Yeah. There's nothing in the instructions about attaching it to the back here. It's just something that the internet noticed all by itself. So it's, like I said, it's not really necessary, but it does lend some questions like what's going to be happening here in terms of features in the future. Now, by the time I'm making this video, the fourth wave toys have already been announced. So we know about Shishi Red Orion, we know about the Orion Battler, and we know about Kojishi Voyager, Super Shishi Voyager, and also Super Q-Reno. So we know about these already, because they were released just a couple weeks ago, or whatever it is. But the thing we don't know about is what the ultimate combined form is going to be that has all 12 Voyagers involved. I mean, are all 12 Voyagers even going to be involved? We don't know. Or is it 13? I guess it would be 13 Voyagers, because 11 is, let's see, 9, 10, 11. This is 11 Voyagers. 12 is Phoenix Voyager, or Ho-Oh Voyager. And then, is that right? Yeah, 9, 11, and then 12, wait, I'm getting confused. 11, 12, The 13th Voyager is probably Kojishi, and the 14th Voyager is going to be the Orion Battler. So there's actually 14 Voyagers floating around in the galaxy here somewhere. But we don't know, as of the making of this video, we don't know what the ultimate combined form of all 14 Voyagers is going to be. We don't know what it looks like. We know there's something involved combining. We know it's on the way, we just don't know what it looks like. I've been watching JE Fusion and TokuNation.com like a hawk for the last week now, since the Orion Battler was announced. I've been watching it like crazy, and they still haven't told us what's going to happen. So that right there is an example of a feature that has not been utilized yet. I actually realized this a little early on, but Bandai and Plex and Toei actually pulled a fast one on us without actually realizing it. For as overwhelming as it is, the notion that there are 9 and then 10 and then 11 Rangers regularly seen in a television series, that sounds pretty crazy. And then each Ranger has a mecha to go with it. If you think about it, this is just a limb swap series. The difference being, there's no, other than Scramble Gatai, and other than, you know, the theme of the animals, it's still kind of a limb swap series where each of the limbs actually don't have, well, I pull up the chameleon, because, you know, it has a tongue. If I can pull it out, there we go. This has a tongue, and this has a sword. Let's not talk about it. But it is interesting to note that they did kind of pull a fast one on us. Oh my gosh, there are 9 Rangers in the opening, and, you know, each one of them can combine. Holy crap! I mean, even my initial reaction to the wave one, I was like, how are they going to do this? After a few days, I realized, you know, it's not that this is not necessarily a revolutionary thing of having 9 Rangers, although it is revolutionary that you have 9 Rangers, and now 11 or 12 Rangers, all seen on screen at the same time. But it's just another blocky, transforming, limb swap Super Sentai series, if you think about it. Now, Q-Reno kind of hides it by the fact that you can swap out the legs, and it also hides it with the fact that you can put the Scramble Gatai, you can put these literally anywhere you want. Why am I reaching for command? You can literally put these in whichever limb you want to, and in some cases you can put them back here just in case. That's actually a good way to store that. Although now that I think about it, when I get Kojishi Voyager, it's probably going to be sitting up here for a while. So, but anyways, by the way, when I get Super Q-Reno, what am I going to do with this? Because I'll just put it back here. We don't notice it. Maybe it gets stored in the Kojishi somewhere. Like maybe it plugs into the cannon or something like that. Anyways, but for as much as I bitch and complain and moan about not part swapping but limb swapping as a poor gimmick, Bandai, Plex, Toei, you suckered me into getting 11 of these things. 9, 10, 11. And you know, we haven't even seen 1, 2, 3 of these in the super combined form, which is one of the worst things you've ever done, by the way. It looks awful. I was thinking about it the other day, like what could they have done to get Hibitsukai, Tenbin, and Washi Voyagers into the ultimate combined form? Because it's literally just this. You know, how unoriginal is that? Well, it turns out it's very unoriginal. It's very boring. I was thinking to myself, you know, how could they have mixed this up in some fashion? Well, what they could have done, these huge kibble chunks on the back, maybe what they could have done was put another set of docking points for Q-Tamas on the back here, but ensure that the only way you can mount them is like this. That way, actually no, it'd probably be more something along the lines of this. That way, when you attach Ryuteo, or rather, when you attach Hibitsukai and Tenbin to the back of Ryutei Kurino, you would have the twins, as I suppose the analogy could be made, the twins. You would have the twins hanging out here, and then you could have Washi Voyager like somehow plunk up on top of you and look like a, you know the giant cannon they had on the Samurai Hao, the huge, like there was a like they had the huge headdress and then there was the cannon behind it. The, I don't remember what it was called, but it was that Hiden disc giant, oh, what was their, Mojikara cannon, whatever it was. They could have had it set up so that Washi Pink would have been mounted, or, I'm sorry, Washi Voyager would have been mounted back here. So you would have had something like this. And then you would truly have had an 11-part Gatai. Yeah, you still would have had the stupid, just fold the knees down and fold these around. You still would have had this stupid thing, but at least you would have gotten all of the Voyagers involved. Yes, it would have been heavier. Yes, it would have been harder to deal with. But it would have been something. Why do I even bother flipping that around? It's not like you have to flip it around for the transformation. Well, technically you do, but technically it can get covered up in the face. You don't have to flip it around, which is really stupid. Like, why wouldn't they? Okay, I already did that. So yeah, I got suckered into buying a limb swap system that, ironically, none of the limbs have special features attached to them, except for maybe like, oh, this one. This is kind of the only one that has a dedicated thing attached to it. That's kind of it. What other one? I don't think this counts because he just attached it to the side. Unicycle missile launcher? So it turns out at the end of the day, I spent, I'll be honest, several hundred. This is easily like $200 you're looking at right here, over 200. Getting myself involved in a limb swap system that kind of, like, well played, Bandai. Well played. You suckered me. You suckered me, but it kind of looks nice enough that, like, I don't regret it. Except when you combine these two things, then it's like, nah. But there is no combination, there's no super combination involving this, this, and this. So really, from my perspective, the only reason I got these is the Orion Battler Ultimate Combination was announced, although we haven't seen it yet, and Kyutama Jin, which involves the Gigan Phoenix. So I got suckered into, like, I'll be ready. I will be ready now with the addition of these three Voyagers when I purchase Gigan Phoenix, and yes, I am going to get Gigan Phoenix. I am, yes. Famous last words? When I get Gigan Phoenix, it will be possible for me to make Kyutama Jin. Which, for a combined form, doesn't look bad, although, you know, if you're using just Kyutamas, what are you going to do with all these things? And you're going to have 10 of these things floating around. And you're just going to be using the Kyutamas. But I suppose I can get into that argument, complaint, rant, whatever it is, the next time I get some more stuff from Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. And with that, this is AV Unit 4A saying, thanks for tuning in.